Almost like the wall that you had to push through.
I think it's like your ego.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like I actually let go of how I look and how I'm perceived and how I'm taken in. I'm just here.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It was amazing that I did improv because it just teaches you to listen. So when you're listening and taking someone in, you can't think of anything. You're just taking someone in. You know what I mean? But in an improv, you got to take someone in order to continue the scene. So then it taught me that. And then when I got on set, you're having this DOP doing this and this sound guy doing that, and then you still have to be there. And then for me, it's like I'll have a shift in my life, and professionally speaking, I have a shift in my life, and it takes me a year to acclimatize. And then I'll be like, okay, cool. And then by the year, I'm like, all right, cool. And then the next year, I'm like, I'm on it.
Yeah.
And then you're on it and you're doing it, and then you do it probably, and then it doesn't grow you anymore doing it in that way, and you need a new challenge. So I always want to grow.
Yeah.
I always want to figure my stuff out. But yeah, like in terms of that role, I just kind of let go. Do you know what I'm saying? And you have to kind of just listen and be present.
And I'm going to say it in the biblical sense, is know thyself. I think if you know yourself, or try and get to know yourself, you'll reveal yourself to yourself. And that's kind of it.
I was nervous. And then, because I really respect him. And then he was like, he's like, I set the boundaries, do what you want within that. You know what I mean? And then it's like, surprise me, surprise yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what the spontaneity that Timothy was talking about. It's like, what happens in the moment, that's the exciting bit, because you can't actually replicate it. It's the moment. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't replicate, and that's what is interesting about life. That's what I find interesting about documentaries, because you go, that person the next day will be in the same situation and can't say that in that way, you know? Because in that moment, they felt like that. And so that's it's that they kind of they trust you. It's where you trust them, they trust you to trust your instincts and go. And then they'll be frank. And then you can actually have a conversation, and then they know you're coming from a good place and you're trying to build something. So yeah, I learned a lot from Sicario, and watching Benicio del Toro do that on set, and then watching the film, and I was like, this guy is a magician, like, because he's doing nothing. He's actually doing nothing, but you feel everything. And I watched it twice. I was like, I don't know. And so I kind of was like, oh, it's the audacity to do nothing, you know? And you basically allow the audience to project. But that's what truly happens in those experiences. You just don't want to, like what Timothy said, you don't want to indicate, you don't want to show like, you just want to go, all right, cool, like that. You just want to be real. That's what would happen in a real situation, and allow the audience in to what this guy is thinking. And then they follow and they come to their own conclusions, which may be what you're doing and may not be what you're doing, but that's the interesting bit, you know? It's like, what do you think, you know? I have no control about I just want to connect in some way. I think that's all we want to do, like, just want to connect and make people feel something. Even if you think it's bad, at least I made you feel something, you know? If you just forget about it, that's like, wow. Like, God knows how many people on set and crew and cast, and you forgot about it? That's crazy.
And then, I just read the script. I do this thing where I read the script a lot. I just read it every day, read it, and kind of just take, and just go, and then I'll just, until I'm like, I've had enough now.
Okay.
I get it. And then it's just in you.
Did you create a life for them before in your mind? Do you do that, where you sort of create their childhood and all of their dreams and their fears, or you don't do that?
No, when I tried it on another job and it was like, it didn't go down well. So then I was just like, I was just like, let me just, but it was more kind of, I think it's more like, spiritually speaking, kind of like getting the emotional arcs. That's what I feel my job is to kind of hold the emotion of the film. If you're the lead and stuff, like hold the emotion of the film and have those turns. Yeah. So I was kind of looking at that. I lost a lot of weight because I wanted him to look like a guy that would lose a fight. So then when he fought at the end, you were more surprised, but it's a more subconscious thing because he was quite slight.
Yes.
And I've got quite broad shoulders, and then so like I knew that like sometimes I just have a physique where I look like I can handle myself. But I didn't want that energy in it, so I would train really heavily.
Yeah, there was a fragility about him, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. Totally I wanted that kind of the leanness of him.
I'll find a person who is that person who I think is similar, and I just listen to them. Instead of listening to a podcast, I just listen to them. And so you work on it like in the background. So because you don't want, like, accent and acting are two different disciplines. Do you know what I'm saying? So you're doing it, but you can't think about accent when you're doing your job. It's just, it helps you to do your job. Do you know what I'm saying? It makes the character more believable within the world that you're in, but you're still having to express an emotion or carry some sort of story beat. So I kind of just drill it every morning, every night, and then usually I have to work with someone like an accent coach or some sort to kind of like to fail, to kind of go, oh, that sounds dodgy, and then I record it. Then I'll listen to that back. And then I go, oh, that sounds dodgy. I'm harsh on myself. I go, that sounds dodgy when I say it like that. And I go, why does it sound dodgy? Then I speak to the woman again or the man again. I'll go, oh, this is this. And it's just, it's a process, you know? And then, for me, it's about who is that person as opposed to what does that person sound like? Because then it's like, because accent isn't just how you sound, it's how you carry yourself. It's how you, like, your thinking, your, like, attitude. A lot of time it's attitude. If I come and do an American accent like this, I can't do it because this is quite London, how I am. So, like, you just have to find and adopt a general or a kind of a person within that world that's kind of like the generic person. You have to find an identity within that culture.
And
then you do build from that identity. What?
Sorry, I interrupted. Do you stay in that world in between takes then?
Yeah. I stay in it, and it's really helpful when others stay in it as well, because then you could just talk in it, and people are gonna think you're weird for 2 days, and then like you're just up your own ass, like. But then it's just like, you know what I mean. When it comes out, you just have to do your job. You know what I mean. So it's like, yeah, I just stay in it. A lot of times, if I'm by myself in the area, like I stay in it when I'm going shopping and stuff like that. So because a lot of times they'll throw words at you. And then you have to just say it. You're like, I remember on Sicario, they threw a word at me. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I don't know how to say that in American. But so I just made sure that like anything that comes my way, I am not. Because once you're scared of it, it shows up in a take. I mean,
I was just in my accent all the time. Then I was in America, I was in Albuquerque, so no one knew me like that. So I was just in the accent, like throughout the whole shoot. When I went to the shop, when I went to the gym, I was American. I was just American.
Wow.
And so so I did that continuously. And then, it was a 23-day shoot. So it was a lot. But then Jordan's amazing because he's an actor. So he understood. So he took us to a house for a weekend, the majority of the cast, and we kind of bonded and like did scenes and we spoke and it was just a great vibe. And we got to know each other. And it was a real kind of company kind of coming together.
And I think we all kind of came to a decision that we wanted the relationship to feel really grounded. I think that's the only way to buy them and the journey that these characters go on. If you're rooting for the couple, and then so that's what it was for me. And then we went to a house in Alabama and we did and it was a lot of improv in Get Out, and we just kind of worked it through to kind of have that grounded, spontaneous present.
And we
feel.
kept working on it.
Yeah. I came from just doing youth theatre. I used to write plays, direct it when like 16, just make it with my friends. That's what we just, I don't believe in sitting, waiting for a phone. I don't know what even if I wasn't, I'm like, I don't sit around because we make stuff.
I got loads of ideas that I want to like make, and you just have to put the hours in because you're reading and it goes, oh, this is shit. Like, and you're like, I need to get back. Like, you know what I mean? You just have to there's no shortcut. No. You have to and you don't want a shortcut, you want a long cut. The long cut's always more interesting. So you have to just do the work. So yeah, like that's kind of where my head's at, where I'm heading. And then,
we make it happen. Like, and so it's that thing where like, because I want to grow. I want to get better at it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, how can I get better at waiting? I'm getting better at waiting for a phone. That's not my job. That's just not my job. Like, do you know what I mean? My job is that, so even if I don't get paid, I'm getting better at my job. That's what it's about. And then I'll get the opportunity because I'm around the world. And so the only thing I could really help me is like, I remember I used to email agents back in England and this is that and the other, and I was like not getting anything back. And I just stopped emailing people that were big. Like I just stopped contacting them because I didn't care. Because it's like people in a year above you at school. Like, they're not going to talk to you. They're just not going to, why are you going to talk to them? Do you know what I mean? It's like, they're not going to talk to you. Talk to the people in your class. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, they will want to talk to you. There's no difference. They want to talk. So I just started growing with the people around me, start creating the people around me, and then we become the wave. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to jump on a wave. So it's about being creative and get better at your actual job. Because I was doing youth theatre back in London, and they were looking for young people. Like, I was doing it. Do you know what I mean? I was doing it with my friend, and then we joined Skins as writers with the people I was writing with. You know what I mean? Because I was already doing it. So it was just doing it at a different platform. But it's not even like a bigger platform. It's just more people will see it. You know what I mean? And it was just, for me, it was a really good training. It was just like, if you're rubbish, people just laugh at you. Like, they would just laugh at you, or they're on their phone playing snakes, like on Nokia's.
Nokia.
They're playing snakes, and like,
yeah,
and then like, you're trying to improvise, you're making up everything. Attention isn't a right, you know what I mean? It's like it's not, you're not supposed to listen to me. I don't expect people to, I expect that I'm supposed to do something, and then I get, you have an emotional reaction. It's honest, they're being honest. Sometimes we're in a fit, we're not being honest, we're being polite. Do you know what I mean?
I knew Jordan was gonna get in trouble. Like, I was like, you're gonna get in trouble. Like, I like trouble, man. Like, I was like, that's what we're here for, no? Like, let's fuck shit up, man. Like, I kind of like, cool, if at least I'm gonna go down doing something I believe in. If it goes wrong, because anything can go wrong. And so it's just about stuff that if I believe in it, then I can stand by that.